Hey everyone, welcome to the Balance Spotlight Series, Episode 5. We're excited to be here with Joseph, the founder of Cityroots DAO. Joseph, you want to tell us all about Cityroots and what you guys are doing?
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for having me here, guys. So Cityroots DAO, we're here just to make the space better, Web3 better. So what we stand for is accountability, trust, and transparency. So what we aim to do is build projects that are going to do just that. And we've been around for about 15 months now, just building, having fun, and we've got a major project that's under works here called the Vault, the perfect NFT marketplace, if you will, as I'd like to see it, and then our community would like to see it, where we provide free tools, review platform with analytics and tagging the data itself, so you can come in and see like, oh, hey, show me all the NFT projects that relate to soccer, or as granular as you want to get with the actual tagging of the data itself, in the projects and what they do, their community, their utility, their art. And then the last phase of that project is where we are right now, is building the actual marketplace buy-sell functions. So that, coupled with the ability for project teams to actually, this is some secret alpha, but we're just integrating with something called KYC DAO. So no longer will project teams have to spend $10,000 with random groups to KYC. They can actually still remain pseudo-anonymous by integrating with KYC DAO, and we link their Discord, their Twitter, and their wallet address directly in the vault, so you can see if they've been KYC'd or not. And so you can basically see, like, are these project teams run by real people that are willing to be held accountable in the event of some fraud or anything like that. So we're providing, again, that transparency, that trust, and accountability in the Web3 spot. And we're excited. The project is beta. It's called Vault. The Vault, so vault.cityroots.io if you want to check it out. But yeah, that's what we're here for.
Hell yeah, man, that's awesome. My bad, I hit this mute button. I'm actually curious as well to ask, where do you see the NFT landscape like in 3 to 5 years, like shifting?
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course, here we are, like after coming out of this 2021 huge explosion, Bored Apes, Blitz, and stuff like that. Like, where do you see it going in 3 to 5 years?
That's a great question. So right now we're still in this like pre early adopters phase on the NFT side, right? I mean, the market itself was majority of the market came down to about 500,000 monthly active wallets on OpenSea over the last 12 months. And that's monthly active wallets. That's not even monthly active people. That's on the Ethereum network specifically, which is run through, I think, total volume over the last 12 months ended up being somewhere in like the 20 billion range, something like that. And then that's just scratching the surface. Obviously, 500,000 wallets is not a lot in order to get that kind of volume of transaction. So what I see as we scale NFTs to the mass adoption, like, first of all, there's the why, like, what are they going to actually do with them, right? We've kind of been building, like, you've got like Cool Cats and all these other projects that are building like these cyclical models where it's like, oh, you buy into the community, and then being in the community early gives you access to more things inside the community, rather than building actual business models of like, well, how can we actually provide value to the community outside of just new crypto tokens or new NFTs or whatever the case might be, or alpha or anything like that. So how do we actually provide true like how do we tie in Web3 into the Web2 world? And so what I think we'll start to see over the next 3 to 5 years is like, especially as like enterprise scale starts to come into the space, is you'll start to see, and to some degree you already are, you see like wineries that are using NFTs to track all of their like supply chain, right? So that you get like NFTs that are tracking everyday items, and like where they were built and who signed off on it, and basically all tracking all of these things via blockchain, so that as a consumer, I think, and my hope, and maybe not 3 to 5 years, but hopefully we at least start going there. We start to see companies that are doing this, and I'm already seeing it on the enterprise side where they're starting to integrate these things. But as consumers, our goal would be to ask and almost demand the transparency of these organizations of like, who ended up signing off on this shipment, like how many hands did it touch, and like where did I get my meat, right? Like, or where did I get my vegetables from the grocery store, just by like scanning the vegetable packaging, right, or something along those lines, and just being able to see the chain of custody across like where was it grown, all of that. So everything from food to my table, where was my table made, and being able to, especially since the world is or at least here in the US, we have a heavy push towards wanting these localized builders. So like a table made in Taiwan or China or whatever it is might be worth $100, where the same table, if it's handcrafted here in the US or locally, right, could be sold for 500. And so being able to authentically validate that via the chain of custody on blockchain is where I kind of hope to see, and where NFTs should be going, is just being able to track like, yeah, I own this table, and like I don't have to remember it on a receipt. I don't have to carry the receipt around to me. So insurance companies, I can basically just have my wallets or list of wallets, and these are all the things that went up in the fire, right? If I'm doing insurance claims or anything like that.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. I like what you're saying about like consumers with like grocery items in particular, because I think shoppers all around are going to want to be more invested in what they're putting in their body and where it's coming from, and this exactly allows that to happen in like the most authentic way, and proof. Basically a way that proof can be provided that this is genuine.
Yeah, and the transparency of like, okay, it came from that farm. Now, where did that farm get their like do they get shipments of chemicals? Things like that. Like where is all of this? Where do they get their fertilizer from? Right. And so, because like if it's on the blockchain and it's stored in a database of that caliber, right, you can say, okay, that farm ordered this fertilizer from over here. And that would be on chain, right? Because you'd be able to watch the transaction of the integration between the two companies.
Yeah, so you'd be able to basically see the entire supply chain there, and you have all these companies that just slap labels on their products, and now it's just going to be like, okay, well, prove it. Yeah, and I think that's where we're leading into on a commerce scale. I want to bring it back a little bit more about the vault and everything. I want to know. How have projects been like receptive wise with you guys with the vault? Because basically, you guys are giving them free exposure, marketing, stuff like that. Have you seen like a positive feedback from that?
That's a great question. To be honest, it's been a lot more difficult than anticipated, simply because of the trust factor in general, right? Like, it is blockchain at the end of the day, and there's just so many scams, and in order to get through that initial like, hey, you should trust us, here's why, right? Like that has been difficult. We get through it, but it's still difficult nonetheless, and so that's why we've been so focused on the brand side of our organization. and just building that trust throughout the ecosystem. Partnering with Polygon or Bankless DAO, KYC DAO. We have there's a little alpha where we're working on a partnership with Chainlink actually as well, that should come out here in the next few months. But there's some cool things behind all that. At the end of the day, I think the other part of it, Wolf, is like a review platform is nice, but unless there's a reason for people in their own community to like go and actually give reviews, like think about it. When are the only times that you actually would like go and leave a review for a food place? When you're actually buying the food, right?
Yeah.
Or like right after you ate it, right? Or when you went to go buy something else and it was like the last thing you bought was this, can you please leave a review about it, right? It's like when you come back to the application. So there has to be a reason for end users to actually use the application in order for reviews to be valuable. So now one thing that Web3 provides us with the ability to do, especially with KYC DAO, this is interesting. We can actually validate real users, so we don't have to worry about like getting botted at the end of the day, right? We can effectively like there's going to be a way where we'll still allow people to write reviews without KYC. That's fine, but they won't carry nearly as much weight as if you were to just KYC, and then you have your own personal kind of quality score, if you will, of how much your reviews are worth. The more you review, the more your reviews are worth, and things like that. So we have like these personal scores that'll be attached to your profile. Now, how do you get the users there, and why are they there? That's where the marketplace comes in. And so we wanted to make sure we had all these review things, the calibrations correct first, because there's nothing like that in the current ecosystem. And then the analytics side, and then the tagging, which is even more critical than the reviews. Just searchability. There's no searchability. Everything in Web3 is word of mouth, and so you cannot find projects that you care about. Right? I can't go out and say, hey, show me all the basketball NFT projects today on OpenSea or LooksRare or any of them. So having that data to actually go in and say, hey, show me any project that has to do with basketball, and being able to get a full list back of every project that's there, and then be able to read those reviews and see in context, do I want to make this purchase right here, right now, is huge. So, but that purchasing is the reason people are going to be there. And since that's not out, the application itself is still, it's just going to be in beta. We're not going to have a lot of user adoption until the marketplace itself is ready to go. And we're very well aware of that, and that's okay. So right now we're just in that early adopter phase. If you want to use it, just actually use it for searchability and doing your own research and finding new projects. That's awesome. That's what we're here for right now. As soon as the marketplace comes out, then we can start to give OpenSea a run for its money. Especially given the fact that like our entire model revolves around 100% of the revenue going to Cityroots as an organization, which all of that revenue can get harvested through our Unity token, and just by burning Unity, you can harvest the revenue. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think one of the most important things too is like even the simplest things as just finding out when a project was created are almost impossible to find in this space. There is no like major database for any of this, and projects don't always advertise this, or it's not as accessible as it should be. So I really think like this is a very important thing you are providing to this space. So you talk about trust and everything. So tell us more about the current Cityroots team. Is it just you, or do you have a squad behind you?
Definitely have a squad behind us, and could not be anywhere near where we are today without them, as well as those that have been here in the community since day one as well. So we are a DAO, so all of our work is done through bounties, effectively. Anything that we need, so whether it's like legal or finance or operations, whatever it ends up being, we run this like a actual company. And so we basically put up on D-Work, if you're familiar with that. We use D-Work to create these bounties. and then people can claim or request to be assigned to that bounty, and then they do the work, and then they get paid in Unity, which has its own tokenomics model and all that jazz. But they get paid in Unity, and that's the only way to get Unity is to earn it. That's the only way that Unity exists. So the bounties, we've had 51 51 contributors to the project over the past 15 months, and but there's a strategy team as well. The city council is what we call them, and we have currently 9 city council members. We've added some, we've taken some away, but they are the strategy behind Cityroots, and they each have their own roles. Again, everything from finance to operations to development, whatever it is.
Awesome. So how about yourself? Like, what is your background, and what led you into the crypto, into the NFT space, and to create this whole project that you have?
That's a great question. So my background is actually in enterprise data strategy. So I did a lot of work for Salesforce, Verizon, Comcast, Cisco, a lot of these major Fortune 100 companies on building their internal data strategies and executive data strategies, community dashboarding, and data pipelines. And in all of that, so I built a consulting company, and then built a product to kind of help with help make a higher revenue margin on my consulting. Sold that product to another consulting company, and then started working for them, getting their consulting business up and running and whatnot with the product. But then I started looking for my next venture, and with that, let's see, where it started actually. What, Wolf? It was back in June of last year. I think you and I met in Shiba, right?
Yep, that sounds about right.
Rain, you were there too, and a bunch of us actually.
Oh yeah.
And my first NFT, I had written off, and I mean, I'd known about NFTs for at least, I don't know, a year before that, but I wrote them off, honestly, because I understood, I understood the technology behind it, but I didn't recognize the tokenomics behind it, and the economics, right? And so I had just written them off until you and I were chatting one day, Wolf, and you started pulling in, gosh, what was it? It was the chickens, right? I think one of the first ones that really got everyone's attention there was Lucha, but what really brought everyone in was Janky Heist. Oh god,
it was Janky. It was when everyone was just rolling, and it really caught people's attention.
That's true. I made 1.5 million off of them.
Wow.
And then dude, I pulled out 200K, and then it all just crashed.
Yeah.
So really I only made 200K, but yeah, like, dude, they were a good project. I still hold it. I'm not, yeah, we'll see what happens with them, but they messed up real bad, real bad. Anyway, yeah, so Janky was one, but there was too much money to be made there to not enter the space, is what finally changed my mind. And that's kind of why I made the switch to, like, oh, maybe there is something here in NFTs. And then we got scammed a bunch of times. Well, maybe not a bunch of times, but we got scammed and with the rocks, right? Rain, were you in with that? Did you get scammed by the rocks?
Which one was that?
I don't even remember. There was like some rock thing where they had it on OpenSea as a collection, but it wasn't the real collection. The real collection was on Rarible. And so we ended up buying things that just weren't the real collection, and so they got pulled off. And I mean, we've been doing this for like 6 months, every single day, buying and selling. Like I had over like $200,000 in transaction fees, just from gas. So like I at least knew what I was doing, but even in that, I still was able to get scammed. And I said, "This is bullshit. Like, what can we do about this?" And so, so that's where like this. I mean, my background is in building databases and scaling out these enterprise scale systems of like, safety. So, and business models, right? Like across multiple different industries. So I was like, all right, well, let's do what I know how to do, which is make things scalably safe. So we built the vault.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. And it's just so cool how it's been what? I mean, it's almost October. It's like over a year. It's just crazy how time flies. I mean, if we can go back to the vault a little bit, is there any I mean, I'm sure people are going to be asking. You probably get asked a lot. Do you guys have any like soft release dates or anything like that?
We did, but to be honest, like Web3 is funny, where finding resources that can do what they say they can do is the hardest thing in the world. And then, so because we're a bounty system, getting things done on a bounty system is hard alone, but doing that while attempting to ensure that your developers, like you have to do a very thorough test, like you have to test your developers and make sure that they're not going to like, one, steal your code, bring it somewhere else, and screw over the entire community. Two, they're not going to implement some feature that's going to steal everyone's money, right? Like those are the things that we have to worry about. And so trust is our number one most important thing. So getting things done just takes longer in the bounty model. So we've actually just opened up a VC run so that we can actually get some cash together to go pay an organization to finalize the marketplace code and then get it audited. The bounty system is just too slow going. Specifically on the marketplace development. Everything else is fine. It's just we want to get it out quicker because it's the only thing holding us up from revenue at the moment, and we're ready to go. So dates. I'm hoping to get something out by the end of the year. We should have like a beta version ready to go in like a month or two. I'll say alpha actually of like the marketplace itself, but we're not going to open it up to everybody just for security reasons. We want to make sure that we have all our ducks in a row, and again, trust is first.
Yeah, of course. Yep.
Yeah, I completely understand. With Web3 being such a new space, like giving dates can be dangerous too, because if people's expectations get up there and everything is so fresh. A lot of people are doing things for the first time, and a lot of projects like they're breaking ground into territories that have never been touched before. So it's it's very ambitious, and so like leading into that too, like with Web3 in itself being such a Wild West space right now, is there any advice that you can provide to help users navigate this minefield of scams and malicious contracts that you see?
Oh God. That's really rough because like even OpenSea, I think there was something, one of my buddies, like OpenSea had a project that was on the front page that ended up stealing a bunch of people's money, like last week.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was last week, wasn't it? Yep, I saw that.
And it's like that's on their fucking front page.
Which one was that? If I may ask.
I don't remember the name.
I don't have. I can go find it, but
okay.
That's on their front page. Like how that, like I don't understand how they can allow something like that, and yet they're really the only competition in the space. Like who else is going to be there? Like they've kind of floundered throughout this entire process on like as far as trust goes. Like OpenSea hasn't really done much to like they have money. They can make trust. I've worked with these organizations. Like it's really not that difficult. Like the fact that they haven't is really, really concerning to me with the amount of capital that they have. And so I don't know. It's what would I tell someone? what I'm working on doing is honestly kind of removing the FOMO to the best of our ability, because the FOMO is what really gets you in trouble. Because that's just what people can prey on FOMO, right? And so if that's honestly the reason our application exists. Like, if you can see that real people have written reviews that say X, Y, or Z, like, oh, I've read the contract on this and I think this, and you can see that they have like some tag on their user record that says that they're a contract auditor, right? Or like they've done enough contract audits. They've done like 10 audits in the past, and other people have audited them, and so you know that their audits are good. And so you, like, it's all about trust. Everything is about trust. And so if you can find a way to link a specific person's, I don't really want to say opinion, I want to say like a factual review, right? Like finding influencers, I would say find the right influencers that do their research, that care about their communities, that aren't just here to like pump and dump, or like, yeah, you can make a lot of money, but that's how you lose a lot of money. So at the end of the day, I think that's probably what I'll boil it down to, is find an influencer, someone that you respect and can implicitly trust, because at the end of the day, it's very easy to be scammed.
I think that's really great insight there. We also like to tell our users too, like, have a hardware wallet, have multiple wallets, have something that, one that you feel comfortable interacting in the space with, and one that is your cold storage, like something that
100%.
that's just away. And if you have funds, it's on that one, and you can stay a little bit safer there.
Yeah, but even that has its ability to get. I mean, the hack from last week would have done it.
Yep. And it's funny, you go into trust, and you would think OpenSea is an organization that you could trust, and something like that gets on their front page. It's just really disappointing to see sometimes.
Yeah. And actually, I wonder what the legal repercussions are there as well, right? I mean, because at the end of the day, like, someone has to be held accountable, and that's like when you're putting yourself in that position as a marketplace. I think they are liable. I think there's a lot of liability that OpenSea is open to, but the Web3 community doesn't understand the regulations, and not to mention that it's a global issue. So like, we'll see what happens, but I can imagine seeing quite a bit of legal repercussions coming down the line.
Yeah, and you got to wonder how they even got on the front page to begin with. I don't really know their process. I don't know if it's public at all. Like, was this a promotional thing? Did they get paid to get there, or was it just by chance and some type of algorithm put them there? I don't know. I'm very curious.
Or was it an employee like every other?
Or yep, exactly. Was it a rogue employee?
You got employees from the support side that are like literally selling API keys on the side. They're like, yeah, it's like, because OpenSea support does not get, like, you can't get API keys today for OpenSea. So like, there's literally Discord groups that exist that you can actually go in and talk to like OpenSea employees and actually buy. They're like, yeah, just send this to this wallet, and then we'll get you an API key from the official OpenSea email address. Like, you'll get an email. Like, it's just ludicrous. It's just like blackmail. It's the same shit.
It's so wild.
Yeah, that's it's insane. Like, they do not give a shit. It's so unfortunate.
It really hammers down to like how much this is such a Wild West still.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna be. What was that? You can have one more thing. 22.
Yeah. No. So I guess at the end of the day, like, that's why I'm confident something like platform like ours will be totally fine and be able to actually thrive in this ecosystem, is because trust is first, and we understand the technology and where we're going.
Absolutely. So yeah, we're going to be wrapping up soon. Want to give you a chance. Is there anything you want to tell the people that are listening today? Anything that you want to show for yourself and your with your project? The stage is yours.
No, I mean, honestly, come check us out if you want to be a part of the DAO. We don't ask that you buy anything. We're here to make the ecosystem a better place. And if there's ideas that you have on like how to do that, let's chat. We're open to doing exactly bringing, again, accountability, trust, transparency to the space, whatever that looks like. It doesn't have to just be NFTs. Eventually we'll move on to DeFi DAOs, and we'll build these exact same systems just in across the Web3 world.
Well, you heard it here, everyone. Okay, follow socials, check out their Discord. And Joseph, again, so much for coming with us. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate the invite, guys. Thanks for the chat.
Yeah, thank you so much.